All right, here we go. So I'm going to leave the slides just as they are because I get to see your faces on the side as well. Welcome, Allie. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you.
Thanks. So what I always talk about is nutrition, and especially with you girls and how much, activity and working out you're doing. Um, you can be working out 7 days a week, but if you really truly don't understand, the basics of nutrition. So this isn't Chrissy's diet that I'm going to share with you tonight. This isn't something that I made up, but this is the basics of nutrition. And when you can get a little bit more dialed in on your nutrition, based on what I call tracking macronutrients, and we'll get into that. It's a very fancy word for proteins, carbs, and fats. Um, Doing that in tandem with your activity, especially if you want to lose some weight, or maybe you want to just maintain your current body weight, or possibly even gain weight. I mean, some people are in that type of a situation as well. Um, this whole way about going through the nutrition and understanding what the macronutrients do and their benefits, and then having your own personal numbers because everybody's numbers are going to be different, and then managing to them. um, it's a very, it becomes like a lifestyle, is the best way I can describe it. It's not like you're going to do this for, a 6 or 12 week kind of diet, whatever that diet may be, and then you fall off of it, and then the weight possibly came back, or you just never got back to eating well again. This should be a lifestyle change. You don't have to track forever because once you get into the tracking, um, and you're doing it for a little bit, maybe several weeks. Some people like to track. I'm one of those. I track everything. So I don't drive myself crazy, but I like to know what protein, how much protein I'm getting in daily, carbs, fat, and fiber. So you may love the tracking and you may want to do it. And then you may say, you know what? I got a good handle on what my day looks like when I have my ample amount of protein and carbs and fat. So that might be something that just naturally comes to you over the course of time, and then you're in a good place and you don't have to track. So it really is up to you all how you want to take this and run with it, if you even do. So with that said, I'm just going to just pop onto the second slide and just ask you. And so let me just see here if I can just put this in screen mode. Okay. All right. So, what does nutrition mean to you? No right or wrong answer, but what does nutrition mean for you or to you? You'll have to take your speaker off, your mute off if you want to share.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Am I on mute?
No, I can hear you, Ruthie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nutrition means to me eating something that feels good and does good for my body.
Yeah.
I can tell immediately if I'm ingesting carbs, especially in the morning, I don't feel good. So I know I need like almost pure protein in the morning. Otherwise, I don't start off good. Like I can't have a piece of toast and feel good.
Yeah, that's a that's great. And thanks for sharing your thoughts because nutrition means different things to different people. And for you, because we've worked together, you know the importance of protein to start your day and not just running out the door either, fast in a fasted state or throwing carbs in and thinking that's gonna, help you get through your workout. It doesn't work that way.
Right. It might also be because I do have a history of Crohn's disease, and so a lot of times I think that affects, how I feel.
Yeah. Thank you for
You know?
sharing. Anybody else? What does nutrition mean to you all?
Your name is on this town.
For me, I think of all the things it does for me, how it benefits the inside of my
Hmm.
body. I mean, it
Yeah.
relates to how I look externally, but to me, I think mostly about what does my body need to run and be efficient and healthy and do good things and
Yeah.
ward off the bad things.
Yeah. That's exactly right, Allie. Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing. Anybody
Christine, can you
else?
hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tam.
Yay.
Yay. Welcome.
Technology is not my friend. Nutrition to me is balancing what I eat,
Yep.
trying to find the right amount of vegetables, trying to find the protein, trying to find the good carbs instead of, "Ugh, I'm in a rush. Let me just grab my protein and go."
Yeah. That's
I'm
a
looking
Yeah,
the
that's a
balance.
really good point because if you're not prepared or you're in a rush, especially from the protein aspect, guess where you're going? You're going to something quick and easy that you can open up typically in a bag or a box, and then you're in carb heaven. Do you know what I'm saying? So, we'll talk about the different tools that I have that if you're interested, you can put your email in the chat box and I can just, forward some of the food lists that I have split out by protein, carbs, fats, fiber, things like that, that'll kind of serve a shopping list that you can, kind of look through them and say, okay, yeah, I like this, and, do your shopping from them. So great answers, girls. Really, it's fueling, nutrition is fueling your body with the food that gives you energy. Ruthie, you said it. Allie, you said it. Choosing whole foods, fruits, vegetables, animal products rather than, and you're hearing a lot more about processed and ultra processed foods, things that are in a bag and a box that are so super easily, readily available, quick, easy, and it could be an easy go-to. But, if you don't really look into that ingredients list, you can be ingesting foods that don't make you feel good and make your energy level depleted. And, I saw this quote recently. It said, when I eat like crap, I feel like crap. And that's so
100%.
true. You
Yeah.
know,
For
it's not
sure.
to say that you're never going to pick up, a bag of chips or, or popcorn or something that you enjoy, but if it's a daily staple that's part of, your nutrition, you really have to be, on the less is more approach with the processed and ultra processed foods.
But when you don't eat it, you don't crave it either.
Exactly. You're
That
exactly
craving
right.
disappears and you kind of look at people eating it and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel about it.
And then the consistently, it really has to get to the point of you consistently knowing what a healthy choice is and then making it. We tend to do a really good job at home, right? Because we're in control and we can cook, we can have everything there and we know what oils to use that would be more healthier. And we can pick our fruits and vegetables and carbs and things like that. I think what people struggle with is that social aspect, social gatherings, especially here in our community. Tammy, there's a group of women here that, I live with, and they come to our fitness classes. That social environment in this community, you're walking into carb and fat heaven. There's barely any protein at somebody's house, and then you're there for hours and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? So just trying to be knowledgeable, and hopefully you'll be a little bit more knowledgeable when you hang up this evening, but what is a healthy choice? You know, when I'm presented with those choices, what's the healthier choice to make? And then you got the dining out, being able to, know what a healthy choice is, or being able to request something being made a little bit different for you when you're dining out. And most restaurants are pretty accommodating, today.
I think there's more choices on the menus today in restaurants too,
I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
gluten
also,
free and just different ways of things being prepared that you can ask for that aren't a big deal, maybe
I don't
than
know.
for many years ago.
Yeah, and I think the older I get too, it's like you're not eating, I'm not eating as much. And sometimes I'll just order an appetizer when we go out because it's like dinner is like, ugh, it's like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Or
Yeah.
not treating going out to dinner, because that happens a lot around here with us being
Mhm.
retired, as a special occasion all the time. So, the
Mhm.
appetizer, salad, soup, entree, dessert, like it's not a special occasion. You're going out, you're having
Mhm.
dinner out instead of
Yeah.
dinner at home. And how do you just, refrain, would you eat all that stuff at home? Probably not. Or I don't know, maybe some people would. And then you want to feel good about what you eat, knowing what you're eating, feeling good about what you're eating. And really important, guys, is understanding food ingredients. Not forget about, but the nutrition label is one thing. Getting down to that list of ingredients and how it rolls on paragraph after paragraph, that to me is an indication I'm putting it back on the shelf. And
Yeah.
then looking at that number one ingredient, that first ingredient listed, that is the major ingredient in that product. And if you can't pronounce it, I can't
Yeah.
pronounce it, I'm not ingesting it.
Yep.
Um, and
Yeah.
there's an app that I think I've shared with many of you already called Bobby Approved. It's a free app. You can get it on the Apple Store, but you can simply scan barcodes on products or scan the product and he'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yes.
And then he
Mhm.
explains why it got a thumbs down. So
What's it called? What's it called?
Bobby Approved.
Bobby?
Yep, approved.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
oh,
I
That's
I,
probably
awesome.
did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Bobby.
and
okay,
it's free. You just,
okay.
you don't have to pay for it. Um,
Because
and
I feel a lot of the restaurants have all these sauces on it to make it good, to tenderize it or whatever. And I am not a sauce person, so I tend to just like ignore those. But oh my gosh,
yeah,
there are an incredible number of sauces on everything.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And typically
yeah,
the sauces are going to have the added fat in there, depending on if it's a lemon butter
absolutely.
sauce or if it's some kind of a sweet and sour sauce, then you're
Yeah,
probably the high fructose corn syrup. Like who knows
yeah,
what's in, what they're putting on top of the food to make it taste better.
yeah.
Really important here, nutrition is 80% of what you are doing. Kim and I can tell you, we could have you in that gym 7 days a week, but if you don't know what you're eating, are you eating enough? Are you eating a variety of good nutritious food across all those macronutrient groups? Because 20% of it is exercise. So you can be in the gym 7 days a week and really thinking you're working it out and working it out. But if you're not eating enough or you're eating too much, that's the key that has to get tightened in a little bit. Okay.
Mhm.
All
I
right.
agree.
So what nutrition actually is technically, it's taking in and using food and other nourishing materials from what we're, taking in, all different sources of food, into the body. But there's seven major groups of nutrients that perform different types of things in the body. Tonight, we're just going to get into macronutrients, which are proteins, carbs, your fats, and I also like to include dietary fiber. It's not considered a macronutrient, but it's super important as far as microbiome health and bowel movements, things like that, and being consistent with those things. So we'll add in fiber. Okay. So let's dive right into the macros. We're going to go with the most important macronutrient first, and that is protein. And I'm sure in this world of social media or maybe things that you're coming across that you're reading, you're hearing a lot about protein, 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 are you not?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh,
Right?
mhm.
So protein is by far the most vital of the macronutrients. It is your muscle building block. And protein is found in both animal and plant-based foods. It's essential for muscle growth, repairing of tissue, enzyme and hormone production. With protein, there are 20 amino acids. Nine are essential for us to take in, and we can only get them through our diet.
Okay.
And those sources of protein are eggs, dairy, like your Greek yogurt or your cottage cheese,
Mhm.
any type of animal product, lean beef, bison, lamb, chicken, turkey, fish. Sometimes, if my day is kind of crazy and I can't get a whole food protein in or enough of it in, which tends to happen, at least 3 days during my week, I will supplement with a whey isolate protein, which is a dairy source of a protein supplement, but you can supplement with a plant-based protein. But your plant-based proteins, you have to take in a little bit more of them. So your beans, legumes, tofu, soy, tempeh, all of those things, you have to eat a heck of a lot more if you're not taking in an animal product.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You,
Your number one best bet protein, big bang for the buck as far as grams of protein, not a lot of saturated fat is a chicken breast.
Oh,
So I eat a lot of chicken and
Yes, I do too.
right. So there's probably a lot of you girls out there that are eating a lot of chicken, maybe a lot of
Hate
fish.
chicken.
You hate chicken now?
Oh, food.
That's
I don't
terrible.
like the
That's too
taste of
bad.
it. I don't like it at
Well,
all. It's
that's the beauty of
everywhere.
animal protein because you can kind of pick what you like. Um,
Can I chime in?
I would recommend,
Please.
again, it's not an absolute, but Paul and I take in a lot of protein. It's just kind of, how we are. So if I have a choice, I'm going organic. I am buying, organic range-free eggs or organic grass-fed beef, organic chicken. So where I can and it makes sense, I will buy organic. I'm not suggesting that any of you should go out and do it. Everybody's budgets are different, but for me personally, I consume a lot of protein that I want it to be the best source that I can have of it.
do you feel that, Chrissy, do you feel that turkey comes close to that chicken? We love turkey, and I feel like that's a really good lean protein.
It is. It is. Turkey is a good choice too. What I've come to do over the past several months is we buy a lot of ground turkey and ground
Yeah,
chicken and ground beef. And I
yeah,
make these protein bowls because they're easy. As long as I have
Yeah.
something defrosted in the fridge, I can stick it in the pan, mix
yeah.
it with beans, onions, peppers, zucchini. Like you can
Mhm.
make a whole meal and then you've got your animal protein, your plant protein with the beans, and then your veggies in there for good
Yeah,
carbs. And it's really just a nice, satisfying, easy, quick
yeah.
meal. Um,
Chris,
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead. Yes.
There's a lot of talk now about using whole milk, like the full fat milks
Mhm.
and full fat yogurt and all. How do you feel about that?
I
Because
think as
for
long I
years
think as
we
long as you're getting I would get a good source like organic, you
hmm
know. Now what's going to come into play is the amount of fat, right? Because you're going to have that full whole
right.
milk having saturated fat. Nothing wrong with it, but again, if you're managing your fat grams throughout the day, and I'm just making this up because I don't drink whole milk. I haven't drank whole milk in
Mhm.
many, many years. I don't know what an 8 ounce what the saturated fat would be on an 8 ounce glass of milk, but let's say it's 10 grams of fat and you have allocated 50 grams of fat for your day. You just need to realize that, okay, I really enjoy this glass of milk. I'm going to have it with whatever. Or say, you know what, maybe I'm going to have a half a glass and that'll give me five, you know what I mean? So what you're going to learn with understanding your macros and starting to track them is where you're going to kind of negotiate with yourself on what you want to eat. I remind Paul, that nuts and seeds are very beneficial for us, but you have to be really mindful of how much you're consuming because they're calorically high and they're high in fat. Nothing bad about either one of those, but if you're mindlessly eating a bunch of
Mm.
nuts and maybe, you were only supposed to have a quarter cup of walnuts and you've had a cup. Calorically and from a fat standpoint, you might have blown your numbers for your day. You know what I mean? So we'll get into that. Just proteins real quick, guys, are 4 calories a gram. So people go like, oh my God, I can't eat all this protein. Oh, it's just too much. So an example here that I have on the slide, a 3.5 ounce chicken breast is approximately 22 grams of protein. Protein is 4 calories a gram. That's 88 calories. That is a fraction of your
Mhm.
day, your
Yeah.
whole day. So when
Yeah.
people say, "Oh my God, it's too much protein, I can't eat," no. Protein is probably, and it's and carbs are the same way, but
Yeah.
proteins are 4 calories a gram. So don't sweat the protein. Most of us are going to be in a three-digit number for daily. Somewhere
Yes.
is there. And we'll figure, you guys are going to figure out your numbers in a little bit.
Mhm.
Okay. Any questions on protein? Muscle building, most important macronutrient. And by the way, as we age, we need more of it, not less of it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the carbs. All right. Carbs get a really bad rap. I understand why. Remember years low carb diet, everybody was jumping on the low carb diet. Carbs are bad for you. Don't have carbs. It's the body's primary source of energy. You need carbs. All of you ladies who work out, which I know you do, you need a good source of carbohydrates because they're broken down into glucose in our body cells to give you energy to get through Kim's classes, to get through my classes, right? Kim and I need that ourselves to get through
Yes.
our classes. So carbs are really important. They're your number one energy source in in that macronutrients category. They're found in grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes. So there's a difference though in the carbs, right? You got simple carbs like sugary carbs, your cookies, your cakes, your muffins, your pastas, your juices, your specialty coffees at Starbucks that are loaded with
Mm.
Lord knows what, but it's a sugar bomb. And
Mm.
then you've got your complex carbs, which are more starch-like. You've got fruits, veggies, potatoes, brown rice, quinoa, oats, grains, things like that that are going to be more satiating for you when you eat them versus if you had a muffin for breakfast with a glass of orange juice. Talk
Yeah.
about a carb overload.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Your
Yeah.
insulin level would shoot so high only to crash down maybe an hour later and you're hungry again and you feel like crap.
Yeah.
So what the macronutrients and you getting balanced in your own is going to help you to level out your day so you don't have these spikes up, down, with insulin. Plus, the more muscle you have on your body, the more the muscle is grabbing in the insulin to take it in first and use it before it goes finds its place anyplace else. So what I always say when you're thinking about carbs, choose complex carbs. Simple carbs, stay away from. Stay simple, stay away from simple carbs, choose complex carbs. And again, I have food lists that I have a list A to Z,
Yeah.
um, carbs, your grains, things like that. So I'll share those with you as well. Carbs, as I mentioned just previously with the protein, 4 calories per gram. So an example, I have a cup of raspberries is approximately 13 grams of carbs times your 4 calories per gram is 52 calories. Again, not where the carbs can add up pretty quickly is more in those starchy carbs, that sweet potato or some rice. An apple is like I think 25 carbs, but hey, I eat an apple just about every day with the skin. So don't be afraid of those complex carbs. And again, you're going to be managing, looking at your carbs as well. Any questions on the carbs?
So,
No?
Chrissy,
Oh,
before, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
someone was starting to talk. Um, Before working out, what kind of carb would you suggest or because sometimes the classes are early in the morning and just don't really feel like eating anything. I usually grab like a half a
Yeah,
protein drink or something like that
that's
because just
awesome.
thinking of having the food in my stomach and jumping around
Yeah.
just doesn't do it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
really great question. I think the fact that you're having a half a protein drink, so you're getting in some protein first thing before you step out the door, because it could be an hour or two later that you're walking back home, you know what I mean, and getting back in the door.
Mhm.
Half a banana with maybe a little bit of almond butter or organic peanut butter or a sliced apple, half an apple. An apple is a good form of a good carb. So, and you don't need a lot. You could just take a couple of slices of apple, maybe with a little bit of, one of the nut butters or organic peanut butter and half of the protein shake, and you're good to go. You're gonna have enough energy to get you through that workout.
Chrissy, could you talk about pasta just a little bit? I know you have it there as simple.
Yeah. It's
Are
kind
there
of high.
different types that are more complex?
That's a great question. And certainly any of you girls want to chime in. There's now, again, you're coming back to a bag or a box, right? So now there's chickpea pasta and brown rice pasta. You're still going to get the carb load on it, so you really got to be looking at that nutrition label. I'm not saying don't ever have pasta again, but don't have it by itself. So if you're going to have pasta and you want to feel like you're treating yourself, have it with a meat sauce, meat and tomato sauce, right? Have it with a protein. Don't have it what I call a naked carb. But no, you're going to get a double-digit hit depending on the quantity you're having in your carbs. So let's say your carb number, I'm just talking off the top of my head. Let's say it's 165 grams of carbs a day. And that cup of pasta has you at, I'm making up a number, 60. Just know that, okay, I'm planning my dinner. I'm going to have that pasta because I know I'm having 60 carbs right there. You know what I mean? So you're going to, like I said earlier, you're going to start to see and be really mindful now of with your tracking, like, okay, well, you have a certain amount of macro, grams each day for protein, carbs, fat, and fiber. How are you going to manage to that? How are you going to hit that number? Um, and try to,
Chrissy,
yeah,
can I chime
Thank
in?
you.
yeah,
Something
sure.
something Matt and I do is we make spaghetti squash. And let me tell you, my husband was a pasta man, and I just started pushing it, and now he is like, "Ooh, let's do spaghetti squash
Yeah, that's
with,
a
Yeah,
great
it's
idea.
sauce,
delicious.
and then we
Yeah.
throw a bunch of ground chicken in there, and I
Yeah.
mean, at this point, we can't even tell the difference because you just put a little olive oil on it, and it's delicious, and it's a very, very filling.
That's a
Yeah.
great idea. And yeah, that's awesome. I know
Mhm.
the restaurant up the road Speaks Clam Bar. When I go there, I get their zucchini noodles with
Oh,
Yeah.
the
yum.
clams. So, that's a
Yeah.
great, great idea. Might be a good substitute, Allie. I've seen also edamame pasta, which has a good source
Mm.
of protein and fiber. You'll get a carb hit on there as well, but if you're planning your day, um, there's nothing wrong with pasta. It's just all, you got to just plan your day. But the cereals, juices, and a lot of the stuff that, people are still eating, cereal, what are we, 5 years old still eating
Yeah, I
cereal?
know. I know. My sister said I only eat Raisin Bran, the crunchy Raisin Bran. So I got it for her, and she came, and we were eating oatmeal with fruit, or cottage cheese and fruit, or avocado and toast and that. And so she never opened her box of Raisin Bran. Okay, fast forward 3 years. I said I still have that original box of Raisin Bran,
I'll
and
tell you
she.
something, 3 years
Yeah.
later, and it's
Yeah.
still
And
hanging
it's
there
still
on the
Dave,
fresh.
shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still fresh. I
Yeah.
can donate it to the food pantry, not, but I mean,
Crazy.
it is funny.
Yeah. Um,
Mm.
But
Great question, though,
the
Allie.
whole pasta thing is, we really enjoyed pasta, and now we maybe have it once a month, maybe once every other month.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's all, spaghetti squash or substitute pasta because we still like the meatballs and the sauce and
yes.
Right.
vegetables and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Yep,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with
Mhm.
that.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. We love the zucchini nut noodles. Yeah.
Okay, and then the third macro is your fats, right? It's the body's, it's second in line to the carbs, body's energy source. Number two, eating fats doesn't make you fat. I don't
Yeah.
know where that came from, but low fat diet again. Here we go again. So depending on whatever the media was pushing at that time, low
Mhm.
carb, low fat, whatever it is, There's a lot of misnomers to the importance of fat, good, healthy fats in our diet. It's a dense form of energy. That's why fats, there's a lot more calories and grams of fat packed into a small serving. Do you know what I mean? So I was telling you about the walnuts,
Yeah.
earlier. Like you could have 2 tablespoons of walnuts and it's 120 calories. And, you've got a calorie hit right there with a fat hit that if you didn't know it, you might have eaten a heck of a lot more, you know.
Mhm.
Your fats, and I'll get to this in a second, but they're important for cell structure and they help us absorb other nutrients and also help to regulate hormones. And you've got your fats in categories of saturated fat. You've got your saturated fat in beef, butter. Grass-fed butter is a nice alternative, and I'm not saying have it every day, but sometimes I want a piece of sourdough toast with some grass-fed butter on it because I just love the way it tastes. Um, your monounsaturated fats, you've got your nuts and seeds, your polyunsaturated fats, you have your fish as well that counts as a protein plus a good omega-3 fat, your mackerel, your sardines, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, hemp, all of that are in the fat category, mostly across monosaturated and polyunsaturated fats. Um, Avocados, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, just the different things that I just mentioned. So fats are 9 calories a gram. So yeah, here I was talking about the walnuts. There's the exact number. Quarter cup of walnuts, 20 grams of fat times 9 calories. That's 180 calories. I don't
Wow.
know. Was the quarter cup of walnuts worth it? Or maybe you could have just taken a little handful and been okay with
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah,
So
that's a lot.
fats will add up really quickly if you're not paying attention. Extra virgin olive oil, I think a tablespoon is 120 calories, 10 grams of fat. Boom.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
Chrissy, let me ask you a question about fats. Regarding fish, Bob and I love salmon,
Mm-hmm.
in particular the Faro salmon, which I feel like even when I look at it, I can see it's visually lots of fat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's that said, is that something that we should put a limit on as far as how much we eat per week? I could eat that stuff every day. I mean, and we love it, but maybe only once a week or once every couple of weeks because it is really high in fat.
Well, I mean, as long as you're managing your fat for the day and and you've accounted for it and you love it, I'd never tell anybody to not eat something.
Mhm.
Do
So,
Okay.
you get that Faro salmon over at Waterside
I get it
Farmers
at
Market?
Fresh Market.
Oh, okay. Because my
And
neighbor,
they often have it on sale. I wait till it goes on sale, then we buy a whole bunch of it.
because our neighbor used to buy it over at Waterside Farmers Market every
Oh,
week she'd
yes,
go
yes,
and get.
yes. I
Yeah.
know what you're talking about,
Okay.
the fish man that
Yes.
He's
is in,
great fish. Great.
yes, and we do buy some over there, yes. It's
Okay.
same, the Faro salmon.
yeah,
And
you
it's
can you
it's
can
much
go.
different than the salmon you buy, the Norwegian salmon or
Yeah.
fresh Atlantic salmon, or hmm. Is it a different flavor, taste, or what?
It's, to me, it's more fatty.
Okay.
Especially down like on the tail end of it, if you don't get a center cut piece, on the ends, you can see uh ribs of fat, literally. I mean, it looks just like meat fat. It's really weird.
And you
Yeah,
like that? And you like
n-
that?
we don't like it. No.
Oh, okay. I was
I
gonna
mean, I
say.
don't like that part of the salmon. No.
Yeah, I always go for the center cut, and I'm thinking you go for the
Yeah,
fat
the
part?
center,
Okay. Okay.
if we
Okay.
accidentally get that piece, no, the center cut is the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah,
But
that's what I always look for. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking right now at the Just in the app, just to see.
Fairfax County became less safe because of these progressive policies.
Now, he responded to this investigation on X, saying that my policies are fair, legal, and reflect the
Okay, so
values of my community.
on
I know
a
lot of
6
people in
ounce
Fairfax
fillet,
County, their values
Yeah.
don't include having murderers.
can somebody
running
put their
down the
phone
street
on mute? I hear the
free and
TV in the
loose.
background.
I hear murder stuff.
It's
Yeah.
something to the voters to say the values of Fairfax County.
I hear a
means
television.
Illegal,
Yeah.
criminals, gang members, anything else.
6
sex offenders
ounce.
back in the streets.
Anyway, I was going to say a 6 ounce fillet on the salmon, you got about 13.8 grams of fat, 42, a nice whopping 42 grams on the protein. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, again,
Yeah.
just on the MyFitnessPal app, just to do a quick,
Okay.
so it's
Yeah.
that high in, it's not that high in fat,
Okay.
especially with the protein ratio there. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
we're talking a 6 ounce fillet, which are typically like what you get, what you can purchase or get out to eat.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah, the protein is excellent in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll have to try that Faro salmon. I don't know if I've ever had it. I've always just looked for the Norwegian salmon because
It has a better taste, and I
Okay.
like it because it isn't farm raised.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. No farm raised, girls.
Yes.
No farm
No.
raised if you can help
Yeah.
it. All right, and then the final macro, which it's not really technically from a nutritional standpoint, it's not considered in the macronutrient category, but I find it very important. And until you begin to start tracking your fiber, many of you are going to see how depleted you are in fiber, in getting in your daily fiber. It's a whopping 25 grams a day that they recommend. So you got to really be thinking about your food choices, to get that fiber in. But I find it important. Ample sources of it are, your fruits with the skin, apples and pears eaten with the skin will give you an extra bit of fiber. Raspberries, believe it or not, are the highest berry in fiber. But your beans, your lentils, quinoa, almonds, bananas, I have a whole list from top to bottom of fibrous foods that, I can email out to everyone so you guys could take a look at it. Recommended daily fiber goal for women is 25. For men, it's 35. So they're expected to get a bit more than we take in. So again, until you're tracking it and really trying to put some effort towards it, you're going to probably find that you're lucky you're hitting 10, 12, maybe 15. But it'll be good for you to see as we go forward. All right. So we talked about macronutrients, right? We know that certain grams of carbs and fats and protein are total up to a calorie, right? So what's a calorie?
Yeah. A number. It's a number.
Isn't it something about the amount of energy or
Energy, something like that. I see on the
You
labels.
got it, Laura.
it takes
Yes,
to
right?
burn?
It's a measure of how much energy is in the
Mhm.
food that we eat,
Mhm.
right? So this is where, this whole conversation of, you've heard the term calories in versus calories out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
What would be important to note about calories in? Why would you want to know about how much calories you're getting in?
So you know how much you have to work to get them out.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
But the other important piece that's going to follow
And to
this
live,
is
yeah.
all of you
Wait.
here, all of us here right now on this phone, just living, eating, sleeping, breathing without any form of exercise, has a caloric energy intake that is needed. So that's where we're going to go next after this calorie discussion, because all of your macros are going to roll up into a daily caloric number for you.
Yeah.
Right? So the calories out, Ruthie, you just said it, right? It's calories in. What am I taking in? And gee, if I ate, that big ass piece of key lime pie last night because I was visiting a friend and I didn't have no willpower, I'm saying to myself, oh, like what am I going to go do? What am I going to go do tomorrow? Oh, I'm going to do a hit class, or I'm going to, be out on the pickleball court for a couple of hours. That game just really doesn't work. It was what we were told years and years ago, but it doesn't really work. So are all calories equal? They are. Right.
No.
120, calories in one food source. And if it's in another food source, 120 calories is 120 calories. What becomes the big difference here, guys, is your choice, right? You can choose the naked sweet potato, baked sweet potato, or the sweet potato French fries, right?
Yeah, right,
What calorically is going to be the better choice for you? What's going to give you more energy? What is your
right.
body going to take in better than, it's either a fried potato, which is going to taste awfully good, or it's going to be just a naked sweet potato. Maybe you put some Greek yogurt on it to make it give a feel for the sour cream, or maybe a half a pat of, grass-fed butter or something. But that's up, so it's going to come down to the choices, right? So all calories are equal, but the choices in the food and how they're made are not. So that becomes really important.
Yeah, the big key item right now is the hot honey. And so it's honey with the red pepper in it.
Mhm.
And so, sometimes we'll have a sweet potato and drizzle some hot honey on it versus where I was growing up, it was the brown sugar
Oh gosh,
and
yeah.
sweet potato. Yeah. And
Mhm.
that's, and like with the sweet potato casseroles and all that stuff. But that hot honey is pretty darn good because it's spicy and yet there is a sweetness to it. I mean, we don't put more than a teaspoon on it, but it gives it more of a kick than just eating a plain,
Yeah,
baked sweet potato.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're not using butter. You don't need butter if you have
No.
the hot honey. So is there a trade-off? I don't know.
Well, I mean, once you start to go into your condiments, like the sauces, the barbecue sauces, the hot honeys,
Yeah.
things like that, you got to take a look at that ingredients label because I venture to guess there's going to be high fructose corn syrup or cane sugar. Somewheres in that ingredients is going to be sugars because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much they want to make them very desirable to
Yeah.
eat, your ketchups as well, your
Yeah.
barbecue sauces, things like your
Yeah.
salad dressings, you know.
Yeah.
But again, if that's something that you're like, wow, I'm only putting a half a teaspoon on, but it makes you really enjoy that sweet potato, have at it,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm thinking it's honey, which is, pretty much pure, and the hot is pepper. And I'm thinking, how bad could this be? But, I'm
Well,
not,
when you
I'm
when you
actually, I should
download
look at the ingredients. Yeah.
well,
I
when you
should look
download
at
the
it.
Bobby app, I want you to scan the barcode on the back of
Oh,
that
okay.
hot honey and
Yeah.
see if you get a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
So it's
bet you cash you're going to get a thumbs down.
okay. So it's BOBY.com.
BOBBY approved.
Oh, approved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of that. Okay. So BobbyApproved.com. Or it's an
Or just
app,
go to
you
the App
said.
Store. Just go to the App Store
Okay,
and type in
okay,
Bobby
okay, we'll
approved.
do. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do.
All right, girls. So
Hmm.
here's where we're going next. So get your
Okay,
pad and paper. I'm
got
going
it.
to come off of this screen and go to the actual website I want you to go to because everybody's going to calculate their own basal metabolic rate. Before we do that, it's what I just mentioned to you a few moments ago. Your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories your body needs to function based on your age, height, sex, weight, and doing just living, eating, sleeping, breathing without any exercise activity at all. Okay. So I want you guys to go to maybe on your, if you have your phone there, go to the www.calculator.net. When you get to that page, because it's got a whole series of calculators, you're gonna click on the link that says BMR calculator. So I'm just gonna come out of that for a second, and I'm gonna just go to where is it?
Okay, it's under fitness and health. under that? Yeah, BMI calculator.
Oh, here it is. Okay. So it should, when you get there, after you see that BMR calculator, this is the page you should see. And on the left-hand side, it's, looking for age, gender, height, weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to
Um,
volunteer to give me your numbers, or you want to just plug them in yourself?
Okay, so I have to
Plug them
literally
in.
do the www.calculator.net.
Yes, you got to, yeah, go in on your phone.
.net.
First of all, is everybody there?
No.
No.
Yes.
that's what mine
Yeah.
looks like. Is that it?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
but go
Okay.
to BMR calculator, Tammy.
Going. Oh, got it. Got it.
Okay.
Had to scroll.
So
Thank you.
you're on your phone, you should be looking at the page that's right here on where that I've got on display. So we could take somebody completely through their own personal macros if you want a volunteer tonight to do their own numbers, but you're going to do your own numbers here. So if I plugged in, anybody want to do this? You'd have to be vulnerable with the group because we're talking about
I'll do
weight.
it.
Okay,
Okay.
Vicky? All right, let's do it, girl.
Okay.
Age?
76.
Good Lord, girl, you look
What?
fantastic. I know.
Would never know that.
Female, 5 what?
1.
5'1". And then your current weight.
116.
Okay, so I'm going to hit calculate. So you girls should be doing the same thing, but I want to just take you through this first. So Vicky, based on her age, female, 5'1", 160 pounds, for her to function, she at least needs 954 calories in her day. So if she
I
is
can do
coming
that.
under, so if she is coming under that, she's starving herself. The body thinks it's, starving itself. I would venture to guess, Vicky, you're probably doing a pretty good job at least hitting your basal metabolic rate. But again, and not to throw this topic up there to ensue any sidebar discussion, but think about all the GLP-1s now, and a lot of women in particular jumping on these. No judgment here at all, but if they were to track their calories, probably a lot of them would be shocked and would be in such a calorie deficit that it would be scary.
Christine, can you talk about the damage or the consequence of under eating, not getting enough of your
Well,
calories?
the consequence of under eating is the body thinks it's starving itself. So it's very
Right.
smart at adapting to what you do. So it's just gonna store fat because it doesn't really understand when you're gonna feed it next. Are you gonna feed it enough? Are you feeding it good, nutritious food, whole foods versus stuff in a bag or a box? Are you going to McDonald's and ordering, a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke? You know what I mean? So um, it it doesn't respond well to, a severe calorie deficit. In fact, and I'll talk to you about this later, I would not have any female under a 1,200 calorie intake. I wouldn't.
I know there's a lot of my friends and they're just not eating enough, and I keep telling them.
Well,
I have a lot of clients that do that too.
yep,
And I tell them just increase by 200 calories and see how you feel.
yep,
They are so afraid of going over 1,200 calories. They're like, well, I'm at 1150. I'm like, you can't go under 12. And then they wonder why they can't lose weight when they're working hard.
yeah,
And it's a mind,
Yeah.
it is in their mind. They have to eat low calories.
yeah, yeah. And that was put into our mind. It was calorie deficit, exercise, exercise, exercise in the way of cardio. So it was cardio, cardio,
Yep.
cardio, cut your calories, cut your calories. That's how you're going to lose weight. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. All right. So BMR so I want you to write down if you just plugged your numbers in, we're going to work with Vicky's numbers the whole way through this example. But I want you to write down on your notepad your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, whatever that is, based on age, sex, height, and current weight. Is everybody there?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So do you see the results? And it says BMR, and there's an activity level chart underneath there on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
You need to be truly honest with yourself, because this is where now the active metabolic rate comes. Remember, I said to you, the body needs what it needs, doing just living, breathing, no exercise. Now, this is a calculation of what your body needs depending on your honest level of activity. So sedentary, little or no exercise, Vicky's active metabolic rate would jump up to 1144 calories. Her exercise 1 to 3 times a week, so on and so forth, right? So what I want you all to do next, and Vicky, you tell me where you believe you're at with your activity level.
I'm not sure where we are. I don't see anything on the left-hand side to look at.
So look on the screen
Oh,
right here. So you're what I'd like you to do is I want you to tell me what your level of activity is. Is it exercising 1 to 3 times a week, exercising 4 to 5 times a week?
I would say 4. I mean, with the
Okay.
classes, I average
Okay.
about 4.
Okay. So where you see 1397, that is what we call
I
your
don't,
active metabolic rate.
I still don't see that, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Did you
So
hit calculate when you entered your numbers?
Yeah, I have that on my phone.
yeah, so I put in your numbers right on the screen that I'm sharing. These are your numbers.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't see any numbers.
I'm not seeing the numbers on the screen.
Yeah.
You're not seeing after I hit calculate that the BMR number right here,
No.
I'm
right
still
there?
seeing your Zooms.
Yeah.
I see
Let's,
your
let's
Zoom slide.
calculate your daily calorie intake.
Yeah, we're still seeing your Zoom
Um,
slide.
I went
Yeah,
on
I
my
have.
phone and got it anyway.
So you're not
Yeah.
seeing
On Monday late and into.
We're not seeing the what's on our phone.
okay, hang on.
Yeah, I got completely kicked off and I had to
Oh, weird.
reinstate. Yeah.
Sorry about that, girls.
Hmm.
All right, let me
Well,
just see.
I'm not real good at this stuff, so we'll see.
All right, can you see it now?
There
Yeah.
it is.
Yes,
Yes,
there it is.
got it.
Okay. So
That's what I have.
BMR calculator. Vicky, this is your number right here. BMR
Right.
954. And then you told me activity. You said exercise 4 to 5 times a week. So that 1397 becomes,
I also walk.
well, that should be part of, we're looking at the
Okay.
frequency, right? So if you're 4 times a week, 4 or 5 times a week is what you're
I
saying?
would say let's go with 6. That's an average.
Okay. Well, I want you all, so this is where you have to be truly honest with yourself on your level of activity. It can't be
Okay.
like, well, let's go with this and because
Oh, okay.
look at where your calories jump. 1,645
Oh,
calories if you're 6 to 7 times a week.
yeah.
I'm not, if that's cool, that's fine. But you all need to be honest with yourself on and that 6 to 7 times a week is intense exercise.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, mine's intense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mine's not intense.
okay, so let's stick with I think for you, 4 to 5 times a week,
Okay.
as you
Yeah, I like it.
1,397 calories. That's your active metabolic rate. So girls, whatever your BMR number is, now you calculate, you're being honest with yourself on your activity level during the week, how many times. That number in that box is what your active metabolic rate is. So that's now you with exercise and what your caloric needs are. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, Vicky, if you consumed on a daily basis about 13 to 1,400 calories a day,
Mm-hmm.
and continued your level of activity, you would maintain your current weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're
I tried
taking
I
in what
tried
you're
that.
expending. It's even. So now, for any of you that want to have a weight loss, I'm going to go back to the slide now so we can kind of help you calculate. Typically, when we're talking about weight loss, we take a calorie deficit off of the active metabolic rate number, right? So if the active metabolic rate number is all the calories we need based on all the exercise we do, and we kept it there, you maintain your current weight, give or take. If we want to lose a little bit of weight, we have to take a calorie deficit off that active metabolic rate. I don't suggest you do a deficit higher than 500 calories a day.
Okay.
500 calories a day is significant, and it would average about 3,500 calories a week for a pound of weight loss. I tell most of my clients, start with a 250 deficit, see how that feels, and then you can go from there.
From our showroom to
Okay.
All right, let me just see what my next slide shows. Oh, not yet. Okay. So, Vicky, I don't know if you want to lose any weight or you feel good where you're at the weight that you're at.
Let's face it.
But even putting a calorie deficit on your almost 1,400 calories, you're at 1,200. If you wanted to do a 200 calorie deficit, I just, I can't speak for you, but I wouldn't have you go less than 1,200 calories if you're looking to lose weight.
It's funny because I've tried to lose weight. I've been like 118, 116 for seems like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my niece talked to me about this too. After I had the surgery, she was helping me get my nutrition in balance. So I've been working on it. I haven't really lost any weight, but I feel good.
Okay.
So
And you know what? If you've been at that weight for so many years, that might just be your, the weight that your body is most comfortable at. And the other thing I want to just say about weight, girls, it is beyond just that number on the scale. That number on the scale doesn't mean, oh my God, it's all fat. That number on the scale is comprised of muscle mass, protein, water, bone mass, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, so on and so forth. So, don't, in my opinion, and Kim, you can chime in, and tell me your thoughts. I tell my clients not to be ruled by the scale because five
I
pounds of
agree.
fat, right? 5 pounds of
Yep.
fat and 5 pounds of muscle are still 5 pounds, but they look completely different on
Yeah,
the body when you have muscle mass versus, fat. So,
100%. I agree.
okay. I mean, your clothes could look better, you could feel better. Maybe you lost an inch or two in the waist, or maybe you lost an inch or two in the hips. I mean, those are better data points that I like to put my clients through than having them manage to one number on the scale, which doesn't define who any of us are.
Yeah. I try not to weigh myself at all because it's not productive for me. I just have to look at how I feel in clothes or how I feel active wise
Yeah.
because looking in the mirror doesn't help.
Yeah.
Well, and when you look at the scale and you're like, wow, I gained 5 pounds, 5 pounds of muscle, and you put on jeans and they're falling off your hips, that 5 pounds is awesome. I'm like,
Yeah.
woohoo, five
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
pounds.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So just getting back to, because this is where, I don't want anybody to get lost. So everybody has their AMR number. And if there's a weight loss that you're looking to start to work on, maybe start off taking a 250 calorie deficit off the AMR number. Just don't have that number go lower than 1,200. Now, if your AMR, if you can tolerate a 500 calorie deficit off your AMR number and still not feel like you're starving yourself and you're not at like 1200, and you want to try that, that's totally fine. But to lose a pound a week, you got to be spot on.
Yeah.
You just do. And you might lose a pound one week and then you might not lose anything another week, or you might lose a half a pound. So I always just, try to take the pressure off my clients that are looking to lose weight and say, look, start off with a half pound a week. It's a lot more reasonable than the 500 calorie deficit. So where I'm going with this now, gals, is AMR, right? And if you want a calorie deficit, also if you're looking to gain weight, maybe you want to gain weight, you can add on more calories. You can add on the 250 or the 300 or the 500 if you're looking to gain some weight. But basically, if you're looking for the weight loss, it's AMR, active metabolic rate, minus your 250 or 500, whatever that number is, that's where we're going next as far as figuring out the macros.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So Vicky, we're going to leave you where you're at.
Okay.
I mean, I'm asking, that was a question. So
Oh.
didn't sound like it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's where we're going next. I recommend splitting your macros. So you have this calorie number, right? Your AMR minus your calorie deficit, or maybe it's just your AMR, whatever it is. I recommend the macros being split 1-to-1 ratio, 35% protein, 35% carbs, and then 30% fat. All of those numbers total up to 100%.
Okay, just do that again, Chrissy, the 35.
Right? So whatever your final number is, Cindy,
Yeah.
your protein would be 35% of it.
Okay.
In grams, right? Your carbs would be another 35% of it. So they're like a 1-to-1, ratio match. And then 30% fat.
Okay.
So again, we're just working with, hang on one second. I'm just going to open up my phone and we're just working with Vicky's numbers. So Vicky is 1397. Okay. 1397 times 35% is 489 calories. Vicky, you should be writing this down.
I got it.
Okay, 489 calories. So we know protein and carbs are 35% of the AMR number, or the AMR minus the calorie deficit number. So it'll be 489 calories for carbs, correct? And then 489, I just have to do my math again, times 2 is 978. So off of her 1397, I got to take out 978. And that leaves Vicky with 419 calories for fat. So how many calories per gram did we say is protein earlier?
4?
Was
it 4?
4, right? So I'm going to take that 489 divided by 4. You're at 122 grams of protein, Vicky.
Okay.
All right. You're also at 122 grams of carbs because we're doing that same thing. 1-to-1 ratio, 35%, 35%. 419 for fat. How many calories in a gram of fat? What did we say earlier?
8 or 9.
9.
9.
Right? So 419 divided by 9 gives you about 46, 40, put down 47 fat grams. So those become your macros. It's real easy to hit the fat and the carb number. I got to tell you, girls, because I've been tracking macros for a long time. The protein is what becomes challenging.
Oh, yeah.
So am I going to say to you, Vicky, because I don't even know what you get in on a daily basis. We don't know what protein you're averaging yet or anything like that. I'm not going to say, well, you better go off and get 122 grams of protein, girl. Right? I'm not going to say that to you,
No.
right? I wouldn't say that to any of you. So before I move on, is there anybody that needs help with this calculation? Because I want you to have your macros correct for yourself.
So we're taking our BMR, doing the 35%.
Not BMR,
I'm sorry,
AMR.
AMR times 35% to get our protein and carbs, and then the difference is your fat. And then for the for the protein, we're dividing that number by 4.
Protein and carbs, right? You're dividing that calorie number by 4, and the
Got it.
remaining calories, you're dividing that number by 9 to get your fat grams.
Got it. Got it.
Oh, by 9?
By 9, yes.
But the protein and the carbs are 4 each.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
And again, just be mindful if your AMR number is good and you're good with your current weight right now and you don't want any calorie deficit number off of it, you just do that calculation that we just ran through, Tammy. But
Okay.
if you're looking to lose a little bit of weight, half pound a week, you got to take that calorie deficit number off the AMR and work your macro calculations from that number.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So,
All right. Now I'm clear. I'm
okay.
just scribbling so fast it wasn't clear.
I am too.
Now I have it.
Yeah, I feel like I am too.
Does anybody need, I mean, we still have some time, a few minutes, because I've got a couple more slides left, so we should be finished up by like 8:15. But does anybody need help? Or if they do, just hit me up later. And then, when I see you, or, if Tammy, if you're still needing some help, we can plan to chat. But everybody else on the call is local here. Just let me know if you're, hey, did I do this right? Okay.
Got it.
All right. Recommended split, I just put it in a pie chart, 35-35. The only two that I would suggest you play around with would be carbs and fats. So maybe you wanted to switch the fats to 35% and bring the carbs to 30%. Like those are the two macros that you can play with. I would not play around with your protein. I would leave it there. But
Okay.
see how you do. I mean, you girls aren't even tracking yet, so you don't even know your baseline. You don't even know, hey, when I track my food for 3 to 5 days and put in what I eat and drink typically to even get a sense of your calories and protein and carbs and fat, these are numbers for you to be striving for, because I venture to guess many of you may not be eating enough, or you're going to be deficit in some of these macros, over in some, maybe lower in others. Okay. So how do we put this all together? I would suggest you begin to track your daily food and drink intake with an app.
Do you think that it happens, or it's more common the hotter it gets, because the less you are intrigued into eating food? I mean, because the colder it is, the more you want to satiate or warm your body up, I guess.
Ruthie,
And
you're asking this girl the wrong question, because I eat all the time. I just do. I mean, and I feel like I'm just feeding, I've definitely had over the past couple of years much more lean muscle mass come on. So I feel like I am taking in a lot more protein definitely than I used to. And I'm in I feel like I'm eating. I just eat. So it doesn't matter the temperature for me.
okay, all right.
I don't know how some of you other girls feel, but
Yeah.
Oh,
being in New Jersey this past winter was like, oh my gosh, the way we changed our eating because you want like warm,
Comfort
Yeah, you
food,
want the
right?
comfort food because it's
Yeah.
cold and you're not going outdoors. You're
yeah,
probably not moving your body as much. I mean, all
Yeah.
those things that go along with living in those
do,
cold states.
Right.
yeah.
So speaking of apps, MyFitnessPal is pretty easy to use.
Yeah.
It's free. So it'll prompt you to sign up. Don't sign up. Just use the free MyFitnessPal app. If you start really liking this tracking and really find it interesting, this Cal AI app, which I just moved over to, they'll offer you a 3-day trial, but it's only $30 for the year. So I can take my phone and I can like scan a barcode or I can scan the nutrition label, take a picture of it, and boom, it puts it right into my daily diary, calculates the protein, carbs, fat, fiber, logs water. So
Hmm.
again, I'm not trying to I don't get paid to, suggest anything, but I've just found that app for me, because I still track, is a
Yeah.
lot easier than me, kind of manually putting in stuff in my MyFitnessPal app.
Mhm.
Just know when you go into that app, especially MyFitnessPal, it's going to allocate your macros 50% carbs, 20% protein, and 30% fat. So you got to change those numbers going in. And again, if you girls
Okay.
see me,
Yeah.
just we can make sure that you have them incorrect, because otherwise it's doing its own default in the app, and you
Yeah.
don't 50, I don't know. You don't need 50% of your calories coming in on carbs.
No, I guess not.
Yeah. Um, So what I would suggest that you all, again, do first is get the app that you're comfortable with, start to do your tracking. Do it for 5 days and do what you normally do. Don't just now start to button yourself up. If you have chips with a sandwich, or, soup and salad, whatever it is that you have, or a glass of wine, I want you to do that actual tracking so you then have your baseline, because the app will average out your calories for the week, but more importantly, you're just looking at your macros. Your macros roll up to the calorie number anyway.
Okay.
Um, it may seem a little overwhelming at first, like, oh my God, it's such a pain in the neck. But once you get the tracking down, you become aware and you become very mindful about what it is that you're doing and the choices that you're making, and also goal oriented, because you're like, all right, yeah, if you're Vicky, you're like, all right, I'm trying to stride towards 122 grams of protein. I'm only getting in 80 right now. How am I going to get in that other, 20 some
Yeah.
odd grams kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, any questions on any of that app related and the tracking and stuff?
I've
No.
I've used MyFitnessPal before and done this tracking, and it is definitely overwhelming at first, but
Yeah,
once you get used to it, once you put in a meal or whatever, it saves it so you could
right.
just,
Mm.
um, reference it again. So
Yeah.
that's helpful. But
I mean,
it
if
it
you want super easy, I mean, for $30 for the year, just get the Cal
Mhm.
AI.
yeah, I
Test
haven't heard of
for
that
three
one.
days, but it's super easy. It
Yeah.
really, I mean, I can log manually, but I'm pretty much taking a picture of this, and whatever, and it's boom, 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 it's all in there.
Great.
Um,
I
the other
like
thing
that.
I wanted to mention real quick on the protein, right? Even on the tracking, maybe you just want to track your protein first and see where you're
Mm.
at compared to what your macros, where you're heading, for your macros. But what I always say to my clients is, like, we're telling Vicky 122 grams of protein, 122 carbs, 47 on the fats. Is she going to hit those numbers exactly spot on every single day? No, she's not. That's why we give a range on the protein here. So you guys could take a picture of this, or I can send it. But
Mhm.
if you're doing cardio activities, it recommends a certain amount of, it's lower protein intake than if you are strength training. And if you girls are going to Kim's class, and we know you're doing some heavy duty strength training there, you want to take in more protein on those days you're lifting weights to support your lean muscle mass, muscle protein
Yep.
synthesis. So
Yep.
that is just, again, I can send that to you. And then I have food lists. I can send proteins, carbs, fats, fibers. I can recommend some protein supplements. And any of you girls, some of you girls are already have a full script account with me. You get a standing 20% off. You can order what you want, when you want, or price compare some of the vitamins or supplements you're taking and compare it to the 20% discount if you want a full script account. It doesn't matter to me if you want it or don't want it. I know Sarah, you and I go back and forth with some supplements that you're.
And I have to say, it's so very helpful for me. Otherwise, I would not be able to get enough protein for sure. I know that.
We're going to recommend a protein supplement for you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's always available. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. This is my first webinar.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank
I
you.
never
Wow.
understood this
Right?
all before.
Yeah.
You
It
made
was
it
fun.
so
It was
simple.
interesting. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Chrissy.
Any
Thank you
final
guys. Thank
questions
you,
on
Chrissy.
anything, girls? Anything?
How are we getting you the emails? Texting you or what?
Yeah, you can text me or even in the chat box on Zoom, you can put your email. But Tam, I think I have yours. So,
Okay.
Thank you, Chrissy.
all right. Thanks, girls.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Chrissy.
evening.
See you next
Thank
week.
Enjoyed
you.
it. Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was awesome.